So I'm Paul Hames, and I've worked for CMJ since 2000, on and off, a short break, but spent 5 years in Jerusalem managing the guest house and the compound at Christchurch. CMJ's mandate was to take the good news of Jesus to Jewish people, because at the beginning of the 19th century nobody else was doing that, so we were the first mission society. And we spent the early years of that century building connections with wherever there was a Jewish community, which meant that by the beginning of the 20th century we'd got mission stations pretty much in every centre along the Silk Route, all the way to southwest China. So the purpose of setting up amongst the Jewish communities, wherever they were on that Silk Route, was to bring the gospel, to tell them about Jesus. Again, nobody was doing that at the time. And so the Jewish trading posts along the Silk Route were obvious places for CMJ to set up mission stations. So one of the surprising places that CMJ had a mission station was in Tehran, in Iran, modern Iran. Used to be Persia. There was a big Jewish community there, and so it was natural that the Mission Society would have a station, and one of the ways was to build a school. So the Anglican school in Tehran was famous right up until 1979, when the revolution happened. It was generally the Jewish populations were not the most wealthy population in the community, and so the way that CMJ operated its outreach work was to provide education and healthcare. So a school was a natural way of getting into the community, making contacts with the Jewish community and actually helping them in a practical way. Even though CMJ primarily focused on the poor Jewish communities, we did have contacts into the Persian upper classes as well, and one of our workers in the 1880s was Mirza Nurullah, and his father was the personal physician to the Shah of Iran, and he was a Jewish background, and he came to England to train as a minister. One thing that CMJ has always done really well is record keeping. So we've got a huge archive in the Bodleian Library in Oxford of past records of the work that CMJ has done, going right the way back to the very beginning. I'm working back in the UK, based in Leicester. We have a couple of churches in Leicester where we've got a lot of Iranian believers, come from asylum seeker background, Muslim background believers, but some of them we're finding as we talk to them that they've actually got some Jewish heritage. So it's quite possible that the fruit of CMJ's work back in the early 20th century, second and third generation are now arriving in the UK looking for asylum. So just recently I had the privilege and blessing of two friends, one who's an Iranian Muslim background believer and one is an Israeli Jewish believer, coming together, meeting in our home, being reconciled and standing together for the gospel as a real outworking of the one new man that Paul talks of in Ephesians. CMJ's mandate verse has always been Romans 1:16, to the Jew first and then the Gentile, with the gospel message, and it's really exciting to see that still being worked out today.